And yes, another triple-digit day on the valley floor, but hey, check that out. Thunderstorms up in the mountains. I'll show you what caused the shower activity and if we'll see any more of it. Plus, a severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for western Nebraska. I'll show you if these storms make it to the metro. Those stories and more right now. Northeast of Yosemite, look at how this thunderstorm was lighting up Doppler radar with bright red, some deep red, and purple. Purple meaning heavy rain and even some hail. We're seeing dangerous fire weather conditions right now along Highway 168. The wind is flaring up. You can see ground fires coming up the side of the hill, jumping over to the other side of Highway 168. Spot fires have taken over the mountain. We went back on Doppler radar to track the echo tops, the height of this big smoke plume. And you can see between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it continues to grow and grow in height, reaching its peak right around 4:30. You can see at 41,000 feet. Look at what happens right after. It collapses, dropping in elevation, finally reaching just 22,000 feet, so shaving half of its height, so we know exactly what happened here, a downburst. A PG&E camera also captured this action. You can see it cannot carry any more weight of the smoke, of the ash, of the water vapor, so once it's so heavy, it gives out and it drops. Once it does that, it disperses wind all around the area, and that leads to rapid wildfire spreading. The wildfire smoke producing states, Washington, Oregon, and California, are producing so much smoke that the mid and upper levels of our atmosphere are transporting it up to 2,400 miles to eastern Michigan. Air converges from both directions. Once it meets here, it has nowhere else to go, so it sinks. Cuando tenemos este tipo de sistema, vemos que el aire se une, se choca aquí y se hunde. What we've just seen in the last couple of minutes, look at it re-strengthening, restructurizing itself. The eye of the storm has formed yet again. This is bad news for the Carolinas. This low pressure system in the eastern Pacific could also tap into that northern jet and possibly fuel a nice healthy storm that we so very much need. Kevin Raymer took advantage of the beautiful conditions. He's vacationing in Huntington Lake. He's actually camping at around 7,500 feet. Said it was really cold last night, in the low 30s. Ouch. So it happens when sunlight warms a specific parcel of the air just a little bit warmer than the rest. That causes an updraft. The air rises. The surrounding air works to fill this air, which causes the rotation, and it can pick up some debris. It looks pretty harmless, right? But this can actually start spitting up to 75 miles an hour. That's the same as an EF0 tornado. So if you see one, keep your distance. Take a guess at what the temperatures have to be for someone to be at risk of a heat stroke inside a car. 100 degrees, 90, 80. How about just 57 degrees? That's because even though, say, it is just 57 degrees out here, in just 10 minutes of being in here, the temperature can shoot up by about 20 degrees. It shoots up by 30 degrees in 20 minutes, and in an hour, it can get 43 degrees hotter than that. That's because cars create a greenhouse effect.
This baby koala represents hope for wildlife that's beginning to rise from those ashes left by the devastating bushfires.
You guys are going to hate me for this, but why isn't a koala considered a bear?
Oh, this is a trick question, like we're supposed to know this, right?
Well, they call it a bear, but it's not really a bear.
It doesn't meet the qualifications.
Oh, this is a joke. Oh. See, I thought you were going to say something really profound.
We are following a major crash south of Fresno in the Malaga area. A big mess on Willow Avenue. A train crashed into a big rig, splitting it in half like we just saw in that live shot with Esme. There are what looks like dozens of power drinks just spilled on the road. So Willow is closed from Golden State to Central Avenue. CHP asks you to avoid the area. They say it's at least going to take 3 to 4 hours to clean this mess up, and that rain and that snow accumulation is going to start to stack up. A winter storm warning has been issued until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. We could see up to 3 feet of snow above 5,000 feet. Those snow levels are going to be dropping down through the passes. So if you need to get down south, you or your family members, just know travel is going to be very difficult to near impossible.
Tonight's weather is sponsored by Donald P. Dick.
Well, another triple-digit day. Nothing new on the valley floor. Let's have a look at those highs just for fun. Hanford maxed out at 103. That's a high point for the valley, but the real active weather was up in the mountains. We saw some convective activity, so some moisture rising in the air, creating instability, which gave way to some thunderstorms, counting a couple dozen cloud-to-ground lightning strikes with these systems. Also, some heavy downpours just northwest of China Peak. This cell made it up to 40,000 feet. Also dumping down some hail the size of a dime. Now, if you didn't feel that strong shower activity, you still felt some impacts from this system as it traveled south. Yosemite saw that firsthand, and one of our viewers captured the aftermath. Armand Williams of these 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Down tree there. Imagine being this cyclist and running into that. Pretty scary sight, right? So not seeing that through the night. It's going to wrap up in just a couple of hours. What's not going to wrap up? Well, this heat advisory. It extends until Saturday. Temperatures could push all the way up to 106. It's the reason why we're not cooling down very much overnight. 71 for the bottom out low. We're only going to feel that at 6 o'clock. So keep those fans going. We'll have a northwest breeze until about midnight. Then Wednesday's calm. Wind picks up again in the afternoon out of the northwest again at 5 miles per hour. The high tomorrow 102. We're going to push that back a little bit. The high today was felt right around 4. We're going to feel this high at around 6 o'clock. North Valley seeing triple-digit heat yet again, with the exception of Los Banos, but maxing out at just 99. So might as well be a triple-digit day there. Delano, Visalia, Coalinga 103. You will be the warmest for tomorrow. In the mountains, another sunny, warm day. So activity there, a little bit of moisture until about the end of the newscast. Then drying up, another sunny day, just a few high clouds in the mix. Shaver Lake maxes out at 77 for tomorrow. But don't worry, there is some relief on the way. A low from the Gulf of Alaska is dropping down, and that at least brings us some cooling conditions, a little bit of relief. So here's what's in store for the next 10 days. Sunday looks fantastic. Monday, stellar. Then we start to warm back up, triple digits again by this time next week. Let's start with what this wildfire smoke is made of. Mainly carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and volatile organic compounds. And believe it or not, after this stuff shoots up into the air, what comes down on the valley floor may be even more toxic. That's because it has time to react with the heat from the sun and all of the chemicals in the air. Now keep in mind, these particles are so finite, 2.5 micrometers. In fact, take a strand from your hair. Yeah. See how thin this is? Well, a smoke particle is 30 times thinner than that. Because those smoke particles are so small, these really won't do you any good. The smoke will go right through them. What you need is an N95 mask, and you need to make sure it seals very tightly around your face. But really the best practice is to stay home and make sure those air filters are clean. You also want to make sure you're not using candles or burning a gas stove. That increases the indoor air pollutants. You also don't want to vacuum because that stirs up all the particles inside your home. From the Creek Fire, Kimberly Colliner, Fox 26, your hometown news connection.
And like Kimberly mentioned, the carbon monoxide in the smoke limits the amount of oxygen that makes it into your body's organs and tissues, which is why many people might have a headache or feel nauseous right now.
Our Sunday was almost exactly where we wanted to be. 88 for a high in Madera, 90 in Fresno, 1 degree off from the 30-year average, almost where we wanted to be because of that haze, the return of the wildfire smoke, and it's getting worse this evening because of the inversion layer. So typically we have a warmer air mass down on our valley floor because of all the solar radiation we get during the day under clear conditions. When we transition into sunset, we start to get a cooler air mass down below. A warm air mass sets up above, and unfortunately this warm air mass acts as a ceiling and it traps that wildfire smoke. So not the best time to be going outdoors, especially because our westerly zonal flow is very weak at 0 to 5 miles an hour. That's not doing us any good to push that wildfire smoke to the east. As for tomorrow, we have a weak ridging, some warm air advection, so temperatures are going to shoot up by a couple degrees. We're also going to see a drop in humidity because of that. Not good news. What we're waiting for is this low pressure area that's going to usher in another trough, more of an onshore flow, hopefully some stronger more fresh breezes to push that wildfire smoke out of our area. But after that, this comes on Tuesday. That's going to keep us nice and mild until Friday. Then we're looking at a high pressure area that's going to push towards the Four Corners, and that really kicks up our temperatures, and we'll likely see that wildfire smoke return. That's for this coming weekend. That's your heads up. Here's the firefighting forecast for tomorrow. Shaver Lake seeing a rise in temperatures by 2 degrees. The southwest breeze is at 6 miles an hour. Minimum relative humidity drops to 22%. It was at 30% today. That's because of that warm air advection. 63 degrees is the overnight low tonight. We have a west-northwest breeze at 5 miles an hour. Clear, as in free of cloud cover, but hazy. Hazy again tomorrow. 90 for the high in Fresno. West-southwest breeze now at 5 miles an hour. So temperatures are rising by a couple degrees because of that weak ridging that we have, but we're also going to see the return of that haze. Weak ridging means weak winds, and that's going to allow for some of that smoke to retrograde. High point in the South Valley, 92 for Coalinga. The mountains look similar to today, a couple degrees warmer, still seeing that haze. Yosemite Valley still seeing those gusts up to 15 miles an hour. For your 10-day forecast, look at those mild conditions by Friday. That low pressure area really drops our temperatures. Tuesday is the first day of fall, but by the weekend and into next week, temperatures will rise, so take advantage of the cooler and hopefully more fresh conditions in our atmosphere this week.
No, we're hoping.